All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. All right, gonna be talking about the band Rush and some really interesting and somewhat disturbing news, possibly depending on how you see this. Before I get to the story, here are vital lines. My buddy Robbie LeBlanc sent this to me. He's the singer in this, and it's really good. It's in the Foreigner and Toto and Journey type of sound, and Robbie just does great work. Whatever he's a part of, it's typically great. So one of the great unheralded singers of our time is Robbie LeBlanc. If you like singers like Lou Graham or Jimmy Jameson, you should probably like Robbie. All right. It's just embarrassing that he isn't a household name making millions of dollars, but that's neither here nor there. I'm sure Robbie feels worse about it than I do at this point. So Rush is in the news. The band Rush. You would think there's really nothing to talk about anymore after the unfortunate and very tragic death of drummer Neil Peart. But here we are. Geddy Lee says he and Alex Lifeson could perform as Rush again. Now, there are going to be two reactions, like there always are. And I can see both sides of this, but I kind of side with the, hey, Neil was kind of like the brains, the pulse of the operation. Maybe we just shut it down, and we had a really great run, but maybe it should stop. All right, but here's the story. Singer and bassist Geddy Lee and guitarist Lifeson said they wouldn't continue following the death of Peart, who joined the Canadian trio back in 1974. So what's coming up very soon? Well, it'd be a 50th anniversary, Dave. But now Lee, in a new interview with the Washington Post, said he'd consider working with Lifeson again under the Rush name. So these two gentlemen apparently have control of the Rush name, which I guess makes perfect sense. It had been a taboo subject, and playing those songs again with a third person was the elephant in the room. By the way, who's going to be that third person? And that kind of disappeared, Geddy Lee explained. It was nice to know that if we decided to go out, Alex and I, whether we went out as part of a new thing or whether we just wanted to go out and play Rush as Rush, we could do that now. See, Rush is a big name brand. People don't know who Alex Lifeson is, but they know what Rush is. The idea was planted in Lee's head by Paul McCartney, who congratulated Lee and Lifeson at the Hawkins tribute after party and said they should go back on the road. Taylor Hawkins, who had, I think, 2 tribute concerts in his honor. Following their September 2022 stage reunion, Lee noted that he and Lifeson got together in the studio for the first time in years and jammed. Lee, who's about to start a book tour for his new memoir entitled My Effin' Life, said Lifeson was excited as offers rolled in after the Hawkins shows. But the guitarist had surgery in July for stomach problems. He needs to feel good and healthy and strong, Lee said, of any plans for the pair. And maybe we will have a discussion. The two former bandmates played together for the first time on stage since the death of Peart at the 2 Hawkins tribute shows. So they played both tribute shows. They performed 3 Rush songs, the 2112 Overture, Working Man, and YYZ. Since Rush broke up, Lifeson started a new band called Envy of None, while Lee has kept busy on his book as well as with other projects. Rush also released a pinball game last year. All right. Yeah. And so that's the story. Who would be the drummer? Who would be, I mean, talk about big shoes to fill. Here's the deal with Rush. So in many cases, I go, yeah, you lost this guy, but you still have the guitarist, you still have the singer. This is a power trio. Just go find a drummer, right? Just go find a drummer. But we're talking about Neil Peart. Many people consider Neil Peart the greatest rock drummer in history. They do. I mean, who's better than Neil Peart? And there are some people that are close to being as good as Neil Peart. You might consider some people better than Neil Peart, but Neil was up there in the top 3. Okay. Now it's not like ZZ Top. Remember when was it Dusty Hill died, and they just kept going. They're like, Dusty Hill, that's too bad. We're just going to replace him and move on. You know, I'm thinking of power trios here. The least popular member of ZZ Top, I don't know. I mean, it's only 3 guys, but they just kept on keeping on, you know? And so with Rush, I think this is a little different. I think they're probably saying, look, we went through our mourning period, 3 years. So the 50th anniversary is coming up. Are these guys short on cash? Like I said, are they looking to make some money? I mean, I get it. You know, these guys were road dogs for decades, and then that goes away. And obviously they're really bored. I mean, I'm sure writing the book was cathartic and so forth for Geddy Lee, and Alex has his little side project, and that's probably not doing a whole lot. So here comes an opportunity, and the offers came rolling in after the Hawkins tribute shows. You notice what they say here in the article. So I'm thinking this is probably going to happen. I think the big question mark, the giant Sir Mix-a-Lot but question mark is who is going to be the drummer that replaces Neil Peart? I would not want to be that man. I mean, the criticism is going to come pouring in from the purists out there, and I don't blame them. I just don't blame them. I'm thinking this one should have been left alone, but obviously these guys want to continue. My friend Tony, who sent me the article, says here, maybe they're going to spell Rush a little bit differently. It's going to be RU, the $, and then the H. I thought that was good, actually. So I like Rush. I'm not hardcore when it comes to Rush. I'm not a Rush fanatic. I enjoy a certain time period. I like their, late 70s into maybe the mid 80s period. And then I picked up on them again toward the end of the 80s. They had a couple of albums that I really liked. Presto being one of my all-time favorites, believe it or not, because I was on the air playing rock music at the time, and that album came out, and I added like 6 tracks to rotation. And the boss is like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This is good. It's Rush. We're playing it." So in any event, folks, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Rush. I'm thinking the 50th anniversary tour, tickets going on sale. Who is the drummer? That's what I want to know. Do they already have one in mind? Anyway, here is Wheels Within Wheels by the band Vital Lines, featuring my buddy Robbie LeBlanc. And Robbie sent this to me, so the least I can do is, give him a plug. If you're a record label, you're probably not watching me, but if you are, and you send me stuff and I listen to it and like it, I will give you a plug, and it won't even cost you money. It's like free advertising. So yeah, people think when you plug CDs, are you getting money? No. Would be awesome, and I may have to start charging people. I was thinking about that, since YouTube has cut my pay in half, so I need to make up the difference. Thank you, patrons, for patronizing. If you'd like to become a Patreon patron, you can do so. There's a link in the description of this video. as well as YouTube members who go very unheralded. They don't get a lot of praise by me, but you guys, I appreciate what you're doing. Just hitting the join button and saying, yeah, I want to help Dave out. So thanks again, everyone. God bless, and please pray for peace. Pray for peace in the Middle East.